You're going to improvise with Larry. And all you know is you've heard it all before.
Did you have a hard time when you auditioned to become a part of the show? I don't know if I ever asked you that. And what was that process like?
Well, the show is improvised, so there's no script. So when I went into audition, it was there was no script, and they just said you're gonna talk to Larry, you're gonna improvise with Larry, and all you know is you've heard it all before,
Mhm.
and at that moment in time, we had kids on the show, so they said, that's all you need to know, and then we started talking, and Larry said, I think you don't fill up the kids' cereal bowl with enough milk. And I said, oh, well, I cover the flakes. And he said, well, yeah, but can you just fill it up to the top of the bowl? I said, no, there's no need to fill it up to the top of the bowl. I cover the flakes with the milk. And if they want to drink milk, they can, but otherwise it's a waste of milk. That was basically one of the scenarios. And then the other, and then the other one was he said he wasn't eating chicken anymore. And I was like, okay. And then we'd start talking, and he said, what are we having for dinner? And I said, we're having potatoes and green beans and chicken cacciatore. And he said, I'm not eating chicken anymore. And I said, right, you don't have to eat the chicken. And he said, well, why would we be having chicken for dinner if I just told you I'm not eating chicken? I said, well, the rest of us still eat chicken, so you don't have to eat it. And that was it. And then like 3 hours later, I was told that I got the part, which was,
And that's like
amazing.
21 years ago, 20 years ago?
Yes.
Decades. I just can't believe it. Time passes so fast. It really does. But I'm so happy it's back. I was talking about a book that I wrote, and I was on The View, and all they were talking about was this debate because all of these really lovely, beautiful women, celebrities and models, were talking about whether or not they thought Larry David was sexy. And I'm sure you've been confused for years as his wife, and maybe now you're even thought of as his ex-wife. But where would you fall on that debate? Where would you fall in? Would you call him a person that is sexy, or not so much that way?
Well, he's very funny, and he's smart, and he's very clean. So, so that's pretty sexy, all of those qualities.
That's exactly what I said. That's what I said in The View. They said, no. What do you mean? Define that. I said, he's funny. And he's really smart. And that, to me, if you can make me laugh and there's some brain candy, like
Yeah.
some brain candy there, I
Yeah.
do find that sexy.
Me too. Me too. I get it.
I also love Tig Notaro, and you get to work with Tig. You guys have a podcast together. And I love the concept of this. It's true. Is it True Stories, right?
Yeah. It's Tig and Cheryl True Story.
And it's about documentaries, but how do you choose them? And, how do you guys source them?
Well, first of all, so Tig Notaro and I, we are not very serious people. So we don't exactly analyze the documentaries.
No, it's not. Right. You're having
we
fun,
don't
of course.
dig into them in any important way. A lot of times we end up talking about who we were attracted to in the documentary, or what were they eating in that one scene, that's disgusting, or I saw that guy's foot and we didn't need a close up of that. So we do a lot of things like that. And yeah, we're about to do fruitcake fraud for the holidays.